Hello and welcome to Unit 2. In this unit, we'll be studying the first peoples to inhabit New Mexico. Of course, you probably recognize that the first peoples, when we say that term, we're talking about the first indigenous peoples who lived in this area that we now refer to as New Mexico. We won't only be looking at the ancestral Puebloans, or formerly known as the Anasazi people, but we'll also study the Mogollon, some Mimbres people, and hopefully a wide variety of the indigenous peoples from roughly earliest times up until the eve of the Spanish conquest during this unit. So we're going to cover a lot of ground, as is always the case in this class. Unfortunately, a broad survey of New Mexico history from earliest times to the present means that we go through a lot of stuff really quickly. So along the way, if you have any questions, please ask them. One of the reasons that I added the spot on the discussion board for factual questions is so that you can ask questions that you don't have the answers to. Whereas our discussion exercises are asking questions that you kind of know something about, but you want everyone to talk about, that can be answered based on the materials that we've been working with. So hopefully that distinction is clear. Alright, I wanted to run this screencast so that I could talk about the format and layout for Units 2 through 8. They will be essentially the same in terms of what you're expected to complete, as well as the options that you have for assignments. This is the first semester that I've decided to give some options for assignments, so I wanted to explain that verbally as well as in writing, just in case it's not clear. So for each unit from 2 through 8, you will need to acquire 225 points for full credit. You can do that a number of different ways. In the section beneath the intro to the unit, I have included this part that says in order to complete this unit's coursework, you will, and then I've divided the work that you'll do into what you should do during the first day of the unit and what you should do during the second day of the unit. For Unit 2, we'll be working on the discussion board. That's the case for Units 2, 4, 6, and 8. For the odd-numbered units, we'll be doing blogs. For all of those units, the discussion or blog, whichever it is required. So you have to do that. It's worth 100 points. That's something that there's no flexibility on. For the other 125 points that you need to get, you can choose a number of different things. So you can post reading tweets, you can submit multiple choice questions for the e-text, you can submit a journal entry, or you can complete glossary entries for the e-text. You can do bits and pieces of all of those. You can choose to do the e-text assignments only. You can choose to do just the reading tweets, just the journal entry. You can mix and match however you want to do that. So for example, you could post 8 reading tweets, 3 multiple choice questions, and do a journal entry. Of course, that would add up to a bit more than 225 for your total, but that's actually okay. So it's okay, you can work and get extra credit. During each unit, just be aware that you have to complete work in each of the 8 units in order to pass the class. You have to engage in the discussions and the blogs in order to pass the class. So those things, again, are not flexible. I know some of you had some reservations about using Twitter, so this is a way that you can avoid Twitter if you want. If you like using Twitter, it's a good way to engage with the others in the class in sort of a more informal way, even though we're still going to be talking about course material on Twitter. Also, as I've pointed out in the e-text assignments, if I want to use your multiple choice questions or your glossary entries in future versions of the text, you will be given credit for that, so your name will appear. I'm not sure how it will be laid out when it's all said and done, but either in an acknowledgement section or at the bottom of the question, or however that works out. So if that's something that you're okay with, you don't have to do anything. If you would rather that I didn't use your questions at all, just tell me that via email, and that's no problem. I will not do that. So before I hang this up, let me just run through what's written here. So as it says, in order to complete this unit's coursework, you will, during the first day, complete required readings, view the included film clips, post one discussion question. So those are things that need to be done during that first day by 11:59. If you choose to do the reading tweets or the multiple choice questions, those also need to be completed during the first day. This is just a way to help spread out the work and also help me to provide feedback in a pretty timely way. Then during the second day, by the end of the day, you need to submit 2 responses to your peers' questions on the discussion board, following the standards outlined in discussion board rules. And then if you choose to do the journal entry, the glossary entries, those are due by the end of the second day. So again, I hope that makes sense. I hope it gives you some flexibility to kind of explore topics that you're interested in, to explore the types of assignments you're interested in. It's not completely wide open, of course, but again, hopefully you can find something in it that you do enjoy.